Hi guys, today my mom is here visiting me from South Florida in the Panhandle.
Hello.
And she's going to teach me how to make German plum cake because guess what? It's one of my favorite cakes and I don't like sharing with anyone. Do I, Mom?
No, and she always gets her own cake for her birthday since she is a little child.
So what she has done in the past, because these plums are not seasoned when it's my birthday in December, my mom every year she went and bought them and she froze them so that she can make me my special cake. And when I see her in the October time frame, she usually bakes me a cake and then she brings me a couple of pieces. Isn't that a special thing?
Yes, you deserve it.
Well, thank you. So today she is visiting me in the Panhandle and we decided that we're going to make this video for Judson and Christina, and also we're going to honor my grandma who taught you how to make this cake, right?
And she was an awesome cook and baker.
Yeah. So the one thing we have is we have a German cookbook where we get all our recipes from, and this recipe comes from it. And then my mom made this amazing little recipe book for all my Oma special cakes and meals. And so this is where this recipe comes from, and we'll share it with you later. But before we get started, I think the one thing I just want to talk about are these plums. Mom, why are they special?
Well, those are not the normal big round plums. Those are Italian prunes, Italian plums. And you can only buy them in September and early October. It's really strange. Those are Italian prunes, and I picked one out, and I hope you can see it. They're really small, oval, purple plums, and you can only get them September, October in the United States. But Publix has them. So, and you need 5 pounds of them. And we will show you how to prepare them later. But besides the plums, because we're using a yeast dough, if you cannot get fresh yeast, you have to get the dry yeast. I don't like the dry yeast, but in America you can hardly get fresh yeast. So we are stuck with this.
Yeah,
Do you want to go the other ingredients?
Well, we actually went to Publix and we asked them if they had some fresh yeast for us, but they didn't. So the only other thing I have to tell you, this is my special plum cutter that my grandma brought me. And I don't know how to cut it without it, but it's kind of cool, and we'll show you in a moment how to do it. But you position it right over the plum, and then when you press it down, it cuts it perfectly, and it opens it up perfect for the plum cake. And then of course the seed comes right out. But my mom knows how to do it if you don't have it. She's going to show you in a moment. You're going to use a knife.
A normal knife, and you take the plum and you cut it halfway. You open it up, you take out the pit, and then you cut the plums a little bit because they need to lay very flat on the dough.
Okay.
So the first thing is you have 2 ingredients you have to heat up. Not heat up, warm up. And it is the butter, 3 teaspoons of butter. So I cut it and I put it in the pot. You see? Okay. And I also need milk. 1/8 of a liter milk. And they together can get warm. So I'll put them on the oven at very low because yeast dough is very, very sensitive. It has to be lukewarm, but it cannot be too hot. Now, while this is getting warm, I think I don't need the butter anymore. And I only need the butter for putting it on the pan later on. Now I can measure the flour. We have an all-purpose flour, and we need 375 gram flour, which is about 13 ounces. So luckily Sabine has a scale for a German scale, so it's easy for me to figure out 375 grams. And I have already 300. Okay, now I have 375. It was a little bit too much. I'll take a little bit off. And now I want to have 300. I have the flour in my bowl. I add 75 gram sugar to it. And the next thing I have to add is the dry yeast. Because with this kind of yeast, you just put the bags of yeast in the dry ingredients. And I don't know whether I have a scissor here. And because the plums are very heavy, I want to I use a little bit more yeast than necessary. Because when you put the plums on top of the dough, they are weighing a lot.
Did you just use 2 bags of yeast?
Yes, I took just 2 bags. Besides the sugar and milk, I have to add the yeast, a tiny little bit of salt, and then I use an egg, which I will take a cup of egg and stir it. Let me just see where there is a, okay. 1 egg, and I use a fork to make it smooth.
So using a whole egg, not just a yolk.
No, a whole egg. Okay, in the meantime, we had warmed up the butter and the milk. And it's not hot anymore.
Let me touch it.
Oh, the pan is hot, but not the... and I took it off the gas for a long time. So I now put it in the flour. And I add the egg. And now I make my dough. Now you don't use a machine for it. You just mix all the ingredients and make hopefully one good piece of dough. But it takes a little while, and you're not stirring it, you're just putting it together very careful. Do you want to try it, Sabine?
Yeah, I think I'll let you do it.
Oh, you're a chicken. This is the hardest part, but it takes a long time for the liquid to go in this flour. And you see it's getting better and better, and should be at the end one big. Looks like I need a little bit more liquid. So you cannot put cold milk in there. You have to warm it up quickly a little bit, because that will be terrible. What happened here? Okay. My mother always said you have to be very tender with the yeast dough. Don't shock it. Don't make anything crazy with it. So I realize I need a little bit more liquid, because it should only be 1 lump, some piece of dough. So I have a little egg left, which I can finish up, and I wait for the milk. It's already warm enough.
So kind of lukewarm, right?
Yeah, just warm.
Well, that was quite a bit of milk you added.
Yeah, it was a little low. Oh, my apron is falling apart.
You want me to
Okay.
tie it for you in the back?
No, it's fine.
But is it important to keep pushing it like this? Like,
Yep. Because you're not stirring it with a machine. And you really want to combine the ingredients, the liquid ingredients, with the flour. We have to get the yeast to go to work. And we let this dough sit. And it doesn't like air conditioning.
Well, there is none running today.
Good, that's a good thing. And you have a little trick. If you want to keep it going faster, you can put the bowl with the yeast in the oven on warm and let it just sit.
Are we going to do that?
I don't know. I don't know your oven. Do we have this? Can you do it?
I don't know. It's a gas
warm?
oven. Yeah, I think I can. Let's see if we can figure it out. So go ahead and...
Oh, we have to take one out here for the bowl is too big. So let it sit there.
Okay, how long do we need to wait now?
Oh, we have time to do the plums.
Okay, we'll do the plums.
Okay.
2 hours later?
No, 1 hour later.
Okay, 1 hour later. Let me see what that dough looks
The
like.
yeast is now bigger.
Wow, it does look bigger.
So
Okay.
now we have to butter the pan, the bigger pan that I would like to have.
Well, that's the only size I have. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, look at all these plums we cut. Aren't you glad I had that little,
Very much. It was so much easier.
than having to do it?
Mine
Even,
is gone. So.
even though I have to say, when you did it with the knife earlier, it looked a lot better. It was more perfect.
Yeah.
But this is faster and a lot less work. It probably took us about, what, 10, 15 minutes to
Yeah.
take all those
Very
pits
cute.
out of there. And then I got to tell you, she ate a couple of those plums.
Of course, I love them. So,
Oh, you need to heat up the oven.
yeah, that's right.
What temperature?
400.
400. Okay. Do you know how to do it, or you need me to help
you
you?
can do that.
Okay, hold on.
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know your-
preheat the oven to 400 degrees, and then we're gonna go back. There are the plums. Yummy. Oh, she's using her fingers now. Do you think you have enough dough?
Yep.
That does
we'll
look
just
like
make-
really good. But you can use the same dough and put other food
See,
on
this
it,
doesn't
right?
work because your pen is too high. So I have to use the finger.
Okay.
And what you can help yourself with, if you have a little bottle, a water bottle.
I may have another one. Let me see. So I don't have the right tool, so we'll have to improvise. That's what happens when you don't bake. Okay, so the pan is a little bit too big for the dough.
So we only make 3/4 of the pen.
And what happens to the rest then? Just leave it blank?
We'll leave it blank, yeah.
It's okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh, that does look really good, Mom. You can put any kind of food on there, right? You could put apples
Well,
on
I
it.
also do a crumb cake this way, just putting crumbs cake so you can put apples on there. Yep. You can also make a pizza dough. You just don't add any sugar to the cake, right? So, that's good enough.
All right. Now,
Did you set the oven for 400?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, now you're putting your plums on. And these plums are actually the last plums to do the cake. They're already a little too ripe. So you're better off doing it early in September when the plums are not as ripe as these. They also are smaller. See, because they're cut so nice, you can really have them.
I can't wait to eat it.
Well, wait a minute. First it has to bake.
Oh, I thought I could eat it now.
No, it doesn't taste good this way. This is not a good plum. Have to throw that away. We have enough.
Jack, you want some plum cake? You don't like it, honey. I know you won't like it.
And I'm glad we didn't have, oops, don't put the pits in there. I'm glad we just using 3/4 of a pen because we would have run out of plums.
Well, there you go. Because you measured, you knew you needed 3 pounds for,
No, that was 5 pounds.
oh,
my
5
dear.
pounds. All right. Yeah, there really is hardly anything left.
No, only the pits.
All right.
Okay.
Now, does it need to sit before we put in the
Yeah,
oven?
you wait while your oven isn't ready yet. So you can, it's good if it sits a little bit to let the dough get a little bit higher anyway.
All right.
And then you put it in the oven for 25 minutes and you can eat it.
Yummy. Can't wait to taste it. Ooh, that looks
Wow, looks really good. Now we can wait 1 minute, turn off the heat and let it sit there for 5 more minutes.
good. Oh, that looks so good.
It looks good.
Oh, it really does look good. Look
See,
at that.
if you would have the plums earlier in the year, you wouldn't have that much juice. They're a little bit too ripe, actually.
I think
But-
they'll just taste just as good. Thank you, Mom.
You're welcome. Don't eat it all. I want to have one slice.
One slice, that's all you're getting.
Okay, good. Thank you.